Alright, you elemental bastards. Here is ultimate all elements mage build. This is normal version with only normal spells. The only thing that uses source points is Stick of the Fight. If you want to see the ultimate version where I'm only using ultimate skills with Apotheosis and Skin Graft, then I have built for that too. It's called Elemental God and it absolutely wrecks anything in 2 turns. But here I wanted to demonstrate how you can play this through mid game to end game without those spells. As the name says, this build is focused on Mage and him using all the elements at his disposal. That means Air, Hydro, Pyro and Geo. The biggest issue here is how to have enough damage output for you to be able to do good enough damage and still having enough points to get all the spells that you want. Well, here is the solution. We're gonna focus on intelligence, that's the normal thing. You're gonna need points into memory, it's a must. But then again, you can remove some of the spells. You don't need all of the spells. And wits is your second most important attribute. That critical chance needs to get high up as much as possible. That means getting yourself any kind of two-handed weapon, doesn't matter which one it is. But staff would be preferable because it gives us more intelligence bonus. It needs to have 20% critical chance, or at least 10%. Or 2 wands with 10% critical chance each. Rest of the gear needs to be focused on, well, everything. Wits, then you need some more points into spell schools like Pyrokinetic, Geomancy, Arrow, and whatever else is remaining. So it needs to be like that. I would suggest using Cheat Commander for this build. Not to use cheats, more skill points and stuff like that. No, just so that you have access to fantastic gear that you can buy. It's still very expensive gear, mind you. So it's not that easy to obtain it all, but at least you'll have a choice. Because going from vendor to vendor, especially in ARCs, trying to find the gear that you want is near impossible. So anyway, that's what you need to focus on, wits being the primary thing. And then secondary, most important thing are stuff like intelligence, pyrokinetic, hydro, geo, air. Combine on every empty slot on your gear, at least on your armor pieces, flame rune or frost rune with power frame. That will give you plus intelligence next to resistance to fire or water depending on the rune that you're using. Here I have slotted 1 giant flame rune of power. It gives me plus 3 intelligence and some fire resistance. Here needs to go giant flame rune of power so that you get intelligence and more critical chance. I managed to get critical chance all the way up to 77. I didn't put maximum amount of points into intelligence because I wanted to put some points into memory as well, while wits was, well, it's almost at 40, which is not bad at all, considering that most of it comes from gear. Combat abilities. Now this is a bugger to deal with. You need to have 3 points into Geomancy, 3 points into Arrow Turret, 3 points into Hydro, and 3 points into Pyro. Obviously from gear you're going to increase some of these combat abilities. So in the end you'll just end up putting 1 or maybe 2 points into it and the rest can be buffed through gear. Scoundrel and two-handed needs to be as high as possible. I have Scoundrel here at 10, two-handed at 5. The whole point is to raise that critical multiplier as much as possible, because we are spending too many points across board, which is never a good thing. But in this case, in this kind of build, it's a must to have access to all the great spells from each elemental tree. So anyway, focus on two-handed and Scoundrel with 3 points into Hydro, Geo, Air and Pyro. Also, I would recommend 3 points into Warfare 2 to get Thick of the Fight. But you can get that later on in the game, don't need to focus on that early on. From talents, I would choose something like this, Elemental Affinity. Although we have all elements at our disposal, Fire is the prevalent element most of the time, so fire spells will cost less when you stand in fire surface. Executioner is a must, Hothead, Savage Sortilege. Far Out Man is optional. If you don't want Far Out Man, you can go for something like Stench. Stench is extremely good. Glass Cannon and Stench is a fantastic combination up until you get to, let's say, Nameless Isle. Then you're gonna get controlled heavily. So I would remove glass cannon when you get to that point, but for first region and second region, I think you can go for glass cannon and stench without issues, especially through first region. As long as you have tank near you. From level 2 and onward, through first region, I would suggest getting all skilled up and bigger and better. That will be the best choice of talents, as it always is through first region. Also, for first 8 levels or so through the first region, I'd say that you should probably focus only on 2 spell trees. For example, Geo Pyro combination or Hydro Air combination. You choose for yourself what you like more, but I would do that in the first region because you won't have as high critical chance, so Scoundrel and Two-Handed won't play much into that. When you get to the second region and start pumping those points into Wits and also getting gear that is focused on Wits, then you can start dumping points into Scoundrel. And later on, by the end of the Driftwood, I'd put a couple of points into Warfare if I cannot get it through gear, just so that I have Tick of the Fight. You need 3 points into Warfare to get Tick of the Fight. But you can neglect this option if you don't want it. Through first region, focus on intelligence and some points into memory. As I said, focus on only 2 schools. Don't go across board with all 4 element types. It's gonna be impossible to have any kind of decent damage done that way. From skills, you're gonna need to be very picky. I wouldn't use Fortify, Armor of Frost and any kind of buffing spell. You have limited amount of slots to use, so I would choose carefully what is the best option at a time. From Hydro Tree, Rain is especially useful. Get that. Hellstrike, Deep Freeze, Winter Blast. These are my choices that I would go for with Hydro spells. From Fireball, Laser Ray, Spontaneous Combustion, Flaming Tongues. This one is optional. If you don't want Flaming Tongues, don't go for it. From Air, Teleportation, optional. If you have Gloves of Teleportation, you don't need it. Blinding Radiance, Dazing Bolt, Electrical Discharge, and Superconductor. These are must from Air. And from Geo, Earthquake, Worm Tremor, Impalement are more than enough. So these would be my spell choices, and don't forget to get from Scoundrel, Adrenaline and Cloak and Dagger. It will help with the mobility. All of these Uncanny Evasion, Fortify, Armor of Frost, Restoration are there just to help you out if you need that kind of help. That's it. So you can limit your slots to about 20 slots when you're at the highest level, and from early game to late game you need to be picky and use only the best spells available. That's it for the build. Now we're gonna do some testing. Paladin Bridge, no Lone Wolf. These guys are normal guys. Dual team. And we're gonna start the fun by poking this bastard over here. Alright. Now we need to move one action point over there, which was a mistake. But then again, I don't care, because I will use Tick of the Fight. Adrenaline. Superconductor. Damage was really good across board. I can't bitch about that. It wasn't that goddamn high so that you can kill everyone, but this is without Lone Wolf, remember that. This is just normal fucking bastards doing their thing. Well, you still have Tick of the Fight, which is the only spell that uses source points in my selection over here, because I wanted to do it the normal way. Use your best AoE spells, like Supernova. There you can see the damage, absolutely ridiculous. I think this guy will die from burning. Yep, don't have to worry about him too much. And while I'm still standing in far, as I said, is a prevalent element, so elemental affinity works well with far spells. We're gonna do some more damage. For example, I can throw Laser Ray on these 2 bastards, and if it crits, it's gonna be epic. And it did crit. And so I killed 2 more. Fucking awesome, isn't it? This guy doesn't do anything, he just buffs me. That's it. I'm gonna put him over there so that they start to focus him. At least a bit. I'm gonna use Guardian Angel 2. We still have tick of the fight, so this would be the best time to use something like Earthquake. There are no oil spills, unfortunately, but that's alright. Let's create some havoc. There we go. Didn't kill anyone, but everyone got some magical armor damage, which is fine enough for me. While I'm still standing in fire, might as well throw one efficient fireball. There we go. From Executioner we get more action points. Spontaneous combustion. Holy shit, right? Works wonderful. And gonna put Armor Frost just in case, because these two elementalists are not yet done. Look at all the choices that we have at the moment. It's absolutely amazing. That's the big thing about this build. As I completely break my PC with Superconductor. Stunned. Didn't do as much damage as I was hoping it would. But he did some crowd control. Adrenaline is back up. So is tick of the fight. And there you go. Whole Paladin bridge cleared without any issues. As I kill myself with damage over time after the fight. Well, let it be. One burning dwarf just for laughs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's a very powerful thing, especially towards the end game. It's fun to play as hell. Don't forget, if you want to see the ultimate version of this, I mean the one where I'm using all the best spells from each spell school with Apotheosis and Skin Graft, you just gotta type in Elemental God on my channel, and that's the ultimate version, where I'm only using those ultimate skills. Alright, you bastards, that would be it. Special thanks to all my patrons and to people supporting me on Twitch, and see you all soon.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you